What does it really mean for an AI to think? Today, we're diving deep into the new interview standard. .NET roles now demand DevOps fluency and CI/CD architecture thinking, not just syntax recall. Interviewers evaluate how candidates design pipelines, trace failures, and automate delivery. Mastering this domain separates senior candidates from the rest. Interview.NET DevOps and CI/CD provides the strategic framework to lead. But here's where it gets interesting. Fragmented preparation. Existing resources treat .NET and DevOps as separate islands. Tutorials focus on isolated tool commands without end-to-end pipeline context. Candidates learn YAML snippets but cannot map a full release cycle. Interview performance stalls at scenario-based pipeline design questions. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about the root disconnect. .NET development is taught without the operational lifecycle that modern roles require. Generic DevOps material omits .NET specifics, MSBuild, NuGet package management, IIS Kestrel hosting. The absence of a unified model linking code, commit to production monitoring, leaves candidates unable to connect components. This raises a critical question: a single cohesive system. Interview.NET. DevOps and CI/CD introduces a reference architecture built for interview mastery. 5 integrated layers model every pipeline stage with .NET native tooling. The system translates scattered knowledge into a defensible mental model. Now let's zoom in on system architecture. Layered pipeline model source control, build and restore, validate, package, deploy, observe. Each layer maps to concrete .NET services, source, Git branching strategy, trunk-based development build, .NET restore, MSBuild binary logging, deterministic outputs validate, xUnit test filters, Playwright E2E, code coverage gates package, Docker multi-stage builds, NuGet push, container registry deploy, Helm charts, Azure app service slots, infrastructure as code. Observe, application insights, Serilog enrichment, health probes. Here's something most people overlook: component map. Core modules interlock to form the complete skill set. Git patterns for .NET solutions, build customization via directory, Build.props test pipeline orchestration. With .NET test filter containerization, chiseled images, non-root users Kubernetes, pod disruption budgets, config maps IAC, Terraform with Azure provider, state locking monitoring, distributed tracing with activity source. Think about this for a second. Interview workflow simulation. Trace a typical challenge, design a CI/CD pipeline for a multi-service .NET application. The framework guides candidates from problem statement to architecture decisions, define build agents, Windows Linux, select SDK version, enforce code quality, stage deployments, and design rollback. It structures the narrative hiring managers want to hear. And this is where things get complex. Decision framework. Pipeline reasoning follows a trigger, agent, steps, artifacts release sequence. .NET specific branching, trigger, PR, merge, build agent, .NET 8 SDK steps, restore, build with configuration release, test with collect, explat code coverage, artifact, Docker image tagged with commit, SHA, release, blue-green swap with slot warmup. Explicit decision trees replace guesswork. But here's where it gets interesting. Failure modes and diagnostic reasoning. Real-world failures dominate .NET CI/CD interviews. The framework catalogs patterns, NuGet restored deadlocks, transient test failures, port conflicts in containers, config drift across environments. Candidates learn to map symptoms to root causes using structured diagnostic checklists, not memorized fixes. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about measurable impact. Framework-trained candidates demonstrate a 3